In July of 2022, Imani Allaway was shot dead in a case of being in the wrong place at the wrong time. The police had determined during the investigation for his murder that he had nothing to do with a robbery that they believe was the motive for the shooting. He died in a hail of bullets next to a children's playground. The gunman opened fire 14 times and hit him 4. Audio from the scene shows the moment that this occurred. I covered the story on the channel in 2020 when this first happened, and today a court has jailed several men, some of them given life sentences, for the murder of Imani. The court heard that at 10 to 1 in the morning on the 4th of July 2020, a man called Kyriacou was robbed by 4 unknown males on Carville Street in North London. He suffered head injuries and had a Rolex watch, money and also an iPhone stolen. Police attended the scene and he said that the suspects had a knife, but he did not want to speak any further. But following the robbery, he got together several friends to meet him at an address in Islington. They used the Find My iPhone app, and once they located it, they drove to the area where they believed it was. A loaded firearm was also collected en route, and Kyriacou and a man called Reese last arrived in the area at 3:20. They got out of the blue Range Rover on Faraday Close and went down an alleyway where a group of people were located with a stolen property. Within seconds of arriving through the alleyway, Reese shot Imani several times on Roman Way. They then ran back to the Range Rover and the other vehicles, and all of them scattered from the local area. Reese gave the gun to a man called Nicholson, and he disposed of it, and it has never been recovered by the police. The London Ambulance Service and the air ambulance attended and found Imani lying on the ground in the children's playground, 20 metres from where he was shot. He was unconscious but breathing, and despite the best efforts of emergency services, he died at 10 to 4 the same day. A post-mortem revealed he had 4 bullet wounds to his body. Officers searched the area and they found 14 bullet casings, as well as an iPhone, 2 Nokia mobile phones, and a SIM card that had been snapped. The phone and the SIM cards belonged to Kyriacou, and it formed part of the stolen property from the robbery earlier. The black BMW that was used to rob him was also found at the scene. Detectives established through the case that Imani was not involved in the robbery, and he tragically arrived at the location where the stolen property was seconds before Kyriacou and Reese appeared with the firearm. The court believed that Reese was the one that discharged the firearm and also killed Imani, but the other defendants helped him and also tried to cover up the case, and the prosecution said they encouraged the commission of the offence. Detectives from the Metropolitan Crime Command launched a murder investigation, and they were able to prove the defendant's involvement by piecing together CCTV, phone data and ANPR. And this week in court, Demetrius Kyriacou, 35 years old from Islington, was jailed for life for a minimum of 31 years. Nathaniel Reese, 41 years old from Islington, who fired the gun, was also jailed for life with a minimum of 33 years. Matthew Hardy, 36 years old from Islington, was jailed for 7.5 years, and Darren Dredge, 41 years old, was jailed for 8.5 years for manslaughter. And James Nicholson will be sentenced for manslaughter also at a later date. They went on to say there was no excuse for bringing a weapon onto the streets of London. In a statement, Imani's mother said that the pain we feel is unimaginable, and no amount of words in this world could describe what Imani meant to us. He was the glue of our family, and he was loved by so many. The whole family is damaged by Imani's death, and a mother should never have to bury her son, and I carry so many emotions every single day. July the 4th will haunt me for the rest of my life. I try my hardest not to revisit that day, but every time I close my eyes, all I see is my son's lifeless body covered in blood, being worked on by emergency services. The nature of my son's murder feels 100 times worse because he was an innocent young person who was just in the Westbourne estate with no knowledge of the robbery that had taken place. It kills me to think how scared he would have been when he saw the defendants with a gun and they shot him. So this story is devastating and truly hard to imagine how the family coped, and also will live on through this as well, and definitely shows the consequences of mistaken identities and just acting in the moment as well. So really appreciate you joining me today. Rest in peace to Imani, and this is a story that we've covered for over 2 years, and this is exactly what it's about. It's about not rushing the story, not speculating, not trying to assume what happened, but actually waiting for all the facts so that you can make up your mind on what you believe the story is. So please don't forget to follow online as well at Scarcity Studios. I'll be back again very shortly with some more news.